The next speaker is a man that I know all too well, and for the past couple of years he's been talking to a lot of museums, more than 100 in fact, him and his colleagues, and they found out that there's 3 things that always come back in these conversations. 1, visitor needs have shifted, kind of like Serge already hinted at. 2, museums don't really know a lot or enough about their visitors. And 3, accessibility beyond the wheelchair ramp and sometimes a digitally accessible website, but not always. Accessibility is still an unsolved puzzle. So based on that, they got to work, made a product, developed some features, and tried to look for solutions in a way to really make the museum as we know it a bit more digitally accessible. Please give a warm and hearty applause for Thibault Bekaert.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Thibault. I'm the founder of WUK. First of all, thank you so much for being here. I was never expecting to have so many people here. We are organizing this event together with our partners from CREATE, and it's been so interesting so far. Thank you as well to these wonderful speakers with these beautiful words on the Museum of the Future and their vision on it. So I'm the founder of WUK. And WUK, well, our mission is quite clear. We want to make culture and art more accessible. And by accessible, we mean everyone. Everybody, that means, first of all, age. You're going to tell your story in a completely different way to a 6-year-old than to an adult. Besides that, we mean language. And third of all, maybe most important of all for WUK, is disabilities, accessibility. Think about blind people, deaf people, people with mental disabilities. I'm going to get into that further. But I have my own museum for over 11 years right now, and that's where it all got started. That's where we built the product from scratch. It has become something completely different, a lot more innovative than it was a couple of years ago. And in the last year, we have spoken to over more than 100 museums, as Robin said, on about 15 gigs. This is our biggest gig so far. Very proud of it to be here. And there are 3 questions that actually always come back. The first of all is, the visitor has changed, but as a museum, have we changed along with them? Because the visitor now, he wants something completely different than 10 years ago. He would like to have personalized content. Our visitors want content that is based on their language, on their interests, on their expertise, at their expert level. So in that way, we can do a lot more, and we see that is actually still quite a problem. We don't have enough interaction with our visitors these days. And when we go to museums, and we've seen quite a lot, and last year we still see the classical signages with small letters, only in 2 languages. We have the audio guides. I have nothing against audio guides, but there must be so much more possible than just audio with multimedia these days. Same thing with touchscreens. In my place as well, I still have a lot of touchscreens. They're a nice asset, but they're not a personal guide throughout your museum. And custom applications, well, I had my custom application at my place. It's just unaffordable. Building the thing is one thing, but then keep on getting there. There's a new iPhone everywhere, every month, a new smartphone every month. So it's just unaffordable. You should know that this is for most museums just not an option. Second of all is, we all want to know our visitors. Who are they? What did they think about our museum? What was good? What was that? What was bad? Where are they from? What's their age? How can we reach them afterwards to know what they would like to see differently? We all think we know our visitors, but actually we don't know them really quite well. The reason is because we don't really have the assets. We don't have the possibilities or the tools to do so. The third problem is probably the most important one in our vision and mission. It's accessibility. And accessibility is very often misunderstood because a lot of people always think about physical accessibility. And by all means, people, wheelchair accessibility is very important, but it is less than 10% of all accessibility. There's also something like digital accessibility. A very good friend of mine, he is right here in the back as well, he always says communication is not only about sending the message, it's also about checking how the message lands. How can I change my message into a form that everybody understands it? So when we go across physical accessibility, we can have a look at people who are deaf or hearing impaired, which is a very big difference. Same thing with blind and visually impaired people. There are completely different solutions for that. People who don't really understand the language perfectly, who have dementia, have Alzheimer, or for example, have an autism spectrum. There are so many problems that really still need to be solved. And how do you solve these problems? Well, actually, I'm going to break this up in 3 parts. First of all, we want to create content in the most accessible way. So we don't only want to be accessible for the visitor, but also for the content manager, for the museum owner. So we made a platform, a CMS, a content management system, a back office, you name it, where it is very easy to create new routes for different types of people, for different types of groups. Second of all, we want to share it in the most accessible way. So not by hardware contracts or whatever, no audio guides or whatever you have to buy. No. We just share it on the visitor's phone. Third of all, we want to have some data, and besides the data, we want to have insights, visitor insights and venue insights. And this is what I'm going to go into shortly right now. First of all, and this is a very, very important part of what I would like to say, we have talked a lot about AI today, and I've heard a lot of interesting stuff about AI today. We are AI-driven in some features. We are not AI-powered. And I completely agreed with Bob when he said AI can be an asset, but we always have to keep the human in the loop. Most museums already have great curators, they have great texts, they have great content, but the only thing we do is we give them the tools in our CMS to make new routes for every type of group they can have in their museum using AI. Right now we have a ChatGPT type of feature in our back office that helps you making new routes. It just helps you out to think about how can I make a route for kids from 5 to 9, from kids from 10 to 15. What can I do for people? How can I enhance the language or just make it easier? Because a lot of times in art, the texts are quite elitaristic. How can I make them easier? There's always a human in the loop who has to rewrite it, reread it, make some adjustments there. Same thing with languages. We have 38 languages right now with a similar AI translation bot that has an accuracy right now of around 92%, which is very good, but you should never rely on only AI translations. Nevertheless, we see that small to middle big museums don't have the possibility to pay for translations into, for example, 12 languages. With the AI translations in our CMS, you just have to reread them and don't start from scratch. So it gives a lot of opportunities. The same thing, the moment we go from text to audio. Making an audio guide is very, very important. We heard it twice today already from our speakers. Audio is very important because people already are seeing a lot in a museum. Sometimes they just want to listen. And the voices have really, the quality has increased incredibly. It's very, very good. Now we have libraries of thousands of voices, and you choose your own voice for every tour. You will choose something completely different for an adult tour or for a family tour, and a completely different voice for a tour for 6 to 9 years old, for example. So in that way, we can do a lot. The same thing with voice cloning, where we can clone the voice of an artist, where he can talk to you in your own language, on your expert level, about his own artworks. Also, those things are accessibility. To give you an idea,
cette technologie offre de nombreuses nouvelles possibilités.
Vroeger kostte het veel tijd en geld om audio te maken.
Ahora solo tarda unos minutos.
And in many different languages.
Ciò significa che le mostre possono essere aggiornate istantaneamente.
内容将根据不同目标群体进行调整。
With AI voices, museums can bring history, art, and culture to life in a way that is faster, more flexible, and more affordable than ever before.
Etc. So you can go pretty much every way with that. To give you an idea, This is one of the museums where we started up a tour. Felix Art and Eco Museum. Felix de Boek was a great artist. We have an audio fragment of him 40 years ago. Very low quality audio. He passed away 30 years ago. What we did is we made many tours for adults, for families, for children, but also for people living around there who are learning the language, learning Dutch, learning French, learning English, but do it in a very low, very simple way. So we made also a simplified expert level of language. What we did is the moment you come in there, you just on your own smartphone, you download the WUK app, you choose your language, you choose your expert level, you point with your camera to whatever you see, and every painting will be explained to you in your language, on your expert level, by the artist himself in as many languages as you like. So that gives a really, really great perspective. Also, this is for many people who are not that much into art, is a lot more accessibility on learning more about art. A bit louder, please. Thank you very much. This is the original, the voice recording. And this is the clone.
Die Erde, das Licht, die wechselnden Jahreszeiten. Sie haben mich mehr
Even there, we can make a lot of adjustments. What we can do there is, for example, we can give it more or less vibrance in it. So, for example, for people with autism spectrum, it's a lot more easy to listen to. Or the other way around, for people who have a hearing aid, who are already connected with their smartphone through Bluetooth, who can listen to it with more intonation. So, in that way, we can do a lot with AI, and that's one of the advantages of what we can do with AI in voice cloning and AI text-to-speech. Same thing with the many solutions we have for blind and visually impaired, which is, by the way, a very big difference. We work together with a lot of visiteurs such as Licht en Liefde, Symfoon. We have this beautiful thing we did at SMAC Hand. It was a temporary exhibition, painting after painting. What we did there is we find this guy, Jordi. He was a freelance blind developer who helped us develop and think along in this process. He said, okay, first of all, let's add the interface for blind people in. It already exists for Android, for iOS. Let's add this to our application, which will make it already a lot more easy to work with. Second of all, let's work with beacon technology, because a blind person, a blind visitor who scrolls in an auditive way, he doesn't want to scroll throughout 200 works of art. With a beacon, we can say there's only 10 works of art around him. So in that way, he can choose his own work of art that he wants to know more about. And then the third, and for me personally, very interesting way of working with AI is we have asked AI, we have prompted it together with Symfoon, for example, to learn how to explain exactly what is to be seen. And this is a work from Aurélie Gravas at SMAC, but it can just as well be something completely different. It can be a building, it can be a monument, it can be in a zoo, you name it. But everything that is to be seen with your eyes will be described in a very objective way by AI.
On the left, a large red curved shape resembling a hand with thick fingers stretches across the canvas and creates an impression of movement. Behind it,
also the speed we can adjust. So the visitor, the blind visitor in question, he can put it a lot faster. You would be amazed how fast people who have who are visually impaired, how fast they listen to audio, a lot faster than us. So we have learned a lot from these types of exhibitions like the one we had now in SMAC. Same thing with deaf and hearing impaired. As I said, for hearing impaired people, there are incredibly many people who have a hearing aid. I have a hearing aid by the way as well. And when you have a hearing aid in your ear, it is always connected with Bluetooth, with your own phone. So in that way, we can already help a lot. Same thing with people who speak sign language. As you may know, there are over 300 sign language all over the world. At Bruges Beer Experience, at my museum, we have won the prize for Best Museum for Deaf People in 2018, but that's only Flemish Sign Language. Somebody who speaks the the Dutch from Holland, the Dutch sign language, will only partly understand it. So in that way, it's very difficult to add many sign language and especially unaffordable. But what is coming in the near future, we work together for that with Do Vlaanderen, with VGTC, with Synapse, and even with the University of Cambridge, is actually AI sign language for many languages. Now we are going, the quality is not good enough as we speak. We only have American Sign Language, British Sign Language, Arabic and International that is getting there, and the quality is getting better and better. It's not only the hand signatures, signs, but also the facial expression. It's getting better and better, but it's not good enough yet. The moment we get there, we're going to implement it right away, because the cost is only 3 to 4% of having real persons going into a studio. So that will be one of the key future points for the deaf community that we're working on together. The same thing with avatars. We used to start with avatars for kids tours, and it's really nice for kids tours, but also for a lot of specialty museums. They're very interested in it as well. A lot of adults really like this idea as well. What we do is we clone voices, and with one picture we just make an avatar. It's not all the time that we use it, and it's sometimes just you come into a room, for example in the brewery, where the brewer says, okay, let me tell you about this and that. Now you're going to see the ingredients. He looks really like the real brewer. He has the same voice, and the moment people come 10 minutes later in the brew room, they see the guy in real life who is brewing and who's talking to you in real life. So sometimes it can be a great asset.
Welcome to Timmermans Brewery,
this is Anthony Martin,
the oldest lambic brewery in the world. I am Anthony Martin, the proud guardian of more than 300 years of brewing tradition. This is where it all began, with craftsmanship, patience, and a touch of magic.
I'm Edward, master brewer. It's all about balance here. Water, grain, hops, and the time that brings it all together. Every brewing day is different, and that's what makes it so exciting.
Hoi, ik ben Beretta, de wilde gist van het huis.
This is an AI
ik
voice.
geef de lambiek haar karakter, haar zurigheid, haar ziel. Zonder mij, geen magie in het vat.
Welcome, noble visitors, to the Belgian Beer World Experience. I am King Gambrinus, ruler of hops, barley, and good times. And today...
Hello, my name is Johanna, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about our history, as well as share some interesting anecdotes. Do you see that statue of Saint Arnoldus? He is the patron saint of brewers. It is a cast.
Dear visitor, it was an honor to show you...
Now, a couple of years ago, these things were unaffordable. Now we have almost Pixar quality for a very, very affordable price. And sometimes it can be more than a gimmick, because it can just get people's attention, and after these 10 seconds of an animation, then you can show the regular content like audio, video, slideshow, some quiz, some mini gamification, you name it. But this just keeps people awake in a museum. Same thing with this, it's a very big picture. The moment you point at it with your phone, it starts moving, and then you get the real information. This is quite far going already. Here you see how paintings really come to life. Also, this can be very interesting for kids tours. When you go with schools to a museum and you want to give them a lot of information, but in a more vibrant way, these things can be very interesting. Then again, always keep the human in the loop. Don't let AI make these things without having a human in the loop. Now, how does the app work? I'm going to keep this very short. Actually, it's very easy. You come with your own smartphone, a tablet, whatever, into a museum. You have a smart QR code. A QR code is normally something that links to one thing, like a payment link or a website link, a URL, you name it. With our QR code, it actually links to 3 types of things. First of all, it will know exactly where you are, and it will show you, this is the WUK app. You just have to click download in the App Store and the Google Play Store. He will show you right away. But he also puts you immediately on the local Wi-Fi. which is quite important, especially for main cities like Brussels or Bruges, where you have a very international very international public, because people from South America or Asia, they don't want to have high roaming costs. So they're immediately on your Wi-Fi, and even if there's a password, the Wi-Fi will get pushed to your iPhone right away, or your smartphone. Next to that, he will know where you are. He will ask you, are you in this museum? Yes, I am. He will only download some sort of a zip file that is on your smartphone at that time, only for 24 hours. Then it's deleted automatically. That's quite interesting because for the visitor, it's very, very easy. So this is not a web application. It's actually a native app that's on your phone, which gives us a lot of advantages. Because even if Wi-Fi or internet or whatsoever, even electricity, if everything would just fall away in an outside or an inside tour, all the content will keep on being triggered. So that gives a lot of advantages. Apart from that, for data and for accessibility, what we can do for people with all types of disabilities, we can do a lot more with a native app. So that's the reason we chose for that. The moment you have it on your phone, it takes about 10 seconds afterwards. If anyone wants to see a small demo, just come to me or one of my colleagues at the stand on your left over there. I can just show you. In 10 minutes, everything is on your phone and it works. You choose your tour, you choose your language, you say, I want this expo, I want this expert level, and let's just go for it. And it works right away. It's not only with image recognition. I just think image recognition is the coolest way, because two-dimensional, three-dimensional image recognition is so cool. You just point at something, gets recognized. But a lot of other options are there as well, like GPS location. He will know, okay, right now you're there, so we can trigger some information, whatever you like. Same thing with just simple numbers. You can just say, okay, now I want to know more about 62 or whatever. For some people, it just has to be simple, and then we just add that as well. So it's also that is accessibility. It doesn't all has to be high tech. Same with Bluetooth beacons, which gave us a lot of possibilities, and NFCs are recognized as well. We see that most museums and visitor centers, they don't choose one of these things. They choose many of these things, and they mix it up as they go for every type of public, for every type of route. Children, they will love to go and search for stuff. For example, this is an art museum, there are some animals hidden in some pieces of art. Well, they can just go into the museum looking for those animals in the pieces of art. So in that way, they like that a lot. Older people will prefer just the fact that they have the numbers and just type in what I want to know more about number 62. So in that way, we make combinations for pretty much everyone. This is a very small demo. I'm going to show you. It's
visitors start their visit, choose their language.
This is Manon.
And choose a tour based on their age or interest. They simply start a visit and then they can choose how they want to trigger the content. You can also share some more information about how to use the WUK app and some practical information about the museum. If you feel like sharing even more information with the visitor, you can always add an extra object and then add, for example, a web page where they can reserve a time slot for an exhibition, or share the museum map that they can zoom in on so they always know where they are. Let's have a look at the first object. You can not only share text and audio, but for example also video, with subtitles in different languages. Or more interactive content, like a quiz.
As said, you get the picture. If you want to see it live, come to us right away. Software is never finished. It's never there. So we're really looking in our roadmap what we can do in our next steps. And for that, we are mostly listening to our museums, listening to our clients. What do they want? And our roadmap is something that's not stable. It's something that changes all the time. So we listen to what our clients want, and in that way, we try to improve it as much as they want. But let's be clear, accessibility is our key nugget. We want an overall better experience for pretty much every user that comes into our museum or visitor center, but accessibility is the key nugget there. Same thing with indoor and outdoor. We started with indoor navigation, now we're stepping into more and more outdoor. And of course, visitor insights. I'm going to come back to that right away. We think they're very important because that's what we hear from all our clients and partners as well. It's because of visitor insights that we can improve stuff. The moment we had the painting after painting, so something completely new that we brought in SMAC, well, we learned a lot by all those people who came there, by the inquiry, by asking them what was good and what was not good in this tour. As a blind person, what were your findings? So we really want to change and keep on changing, keep on getting better, and we cannot do that without you guys, you know. So let's talk data. I'm going to keep this very short, but nevertheless, it's quite important. We divided up to actually mostly 2 points. First of all, the venue insights. Venue insights, it is what are the most busy times? What's the top 10 of most interesting or most viewed objects in my museum? And on the other hand, which one are not that interesting or not that much viewed, and why not? So there are a lot of things we want to know about how the visit went and what people actually want out of it. It's the same thing with visitor data. We can inquire them all the time. We can ask them where they come from, what age they are. It helps a lot, for example, for marketing. Then we can say, okay, in the month of March, you had a lot of female visitors from 30 till 45 years old, and they came mostly from the north of Spain and France, which is very interesting to to target a certain group for the next year. Or we can say, we have seen that most people in your temporary expo, for example, they skipped away at half of your audio. So maybe it's more interesting to shorten up your audio so somebody gets the real story and the full story instead of something that's way too long and people skip in half. So in that way, we can get to know a whole lot. We can trigger these things through beacons, to NFC, you name it. We can ask them, would you like to have our newsletter or be interested in our other temporary exhibitions? Then please give me your email address. So we can go as far as we want in that way. Of course, always remember to be completely in order with GDPR and privacy policy. So it's a very, very important point. Who is WUK for? Well, in the beginning, we always talked about museums, but now we are in indoor and outdoor routes. We are talking with a lot of cities. Some of them are here today. I'm still dreaming of a zoo. My team keeps on laughing with me because for a couple of years, I really want to have a zoo as a client, but we don't have one yet. So, but we're actually pretty much everything that has a visitor center, such as brewery. We have 4 breweries right now. We have Belgian Beer Experience, who is a client. So pretty much every venue that has visitors, we work together with. When you look at our clients, you will see that it's very diverse, from very small and mid-cap clients to really big clients, like just a couple of months from now, we're going to start up Atomium. So we're very proud of that. Atomium, it's like the symbol of Belgium. That's why we also really want to give the gig here today, which was great, of course. Yeah, well, we're all about networking. We talk to everybody. We try to partner up with everybody. I think that's obvious for you here today as well. We invite every speaker we can. We partner up with cities, but also with governments. We have a great connection right now with Ho West and with University of Ghent. We're talking to the VUB. We are connected to IMEC, which we are very proud of. We're one of the, under the umbrella of IMEC, one of the startups of IMEC iStart. So we work together with pretty much everybody. We are not accessibility experts. By all means, what we do is we get ourselves surrounded by all accessibility experts and we involve them in every step of the way. We listen to our clients, we check back on the accessibility experts, and we get back to our clients, we get back to our devs, and we change our product. And that's how we are going to keep on doing it, by having partnerships, you know. So everyone on board, your guest speaker today, Robin, that's really his thing. What he did is he has been talking to a lot of people from all types of partnerships. He has interviewed them, and 2 months, something like that, in 2 months from now, we're going to have the white paper to give to all partners, to give to all clients, to help them out, figuring out how can they make new routes in which ways, to help them out on how does blind people think, what can we do for people with autism spectrum. So we're really quite proud of that. It's something that I think everybody should read. Is WUK affordable? Well, of course we are, otherwise I wouldn't have this slide, you know. But just to give you an idea, we have some really small museums starting from a couple of thousands of euros. They have, for example, 2 routes, 3 languages, and 20 objects. While we also have very big museums who pay 10,000s of euros, who have 15 languages, the whole Shazam, the avatars, you name it. So that's pretty much the range where we work at. Well, the WUK team, I think you will meet most of us, except for the devs. Our developers are not here. They are locked up in a basement, and they are developing right now. The founders, of course, Jonas, you've seen here, and Ringo, our CTO, and our core team is here as well. Manon, Robin, and Louis. Please, if you have any questions after my talk, just go to them, come to me, ask any questions you like, or a demo, whatever. So, I think I should stop pushing. I think I do.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay. Back to the start. So anyway, this was really quite in a nutshell what we are doing, where we are going through. I hope this was interesting for you. I don't think I have time for a Q&A, but if everybody wants to know something more on where we are today and where we are going, want to have a demo at your place, whatever, talk about accessibility, or get in touch with one of these partners we work together with, don't hesitate, just let me know. And thank you all for being here today. It's great. Thank you so much.